This is analog and digital communication systems. The paper code is EC501. Total number of contact hour is 36. The contact per week is 3 lectures, and the credit is also 3. Myself, Dr. Indranath Sarkar, Associate Professor, Department of Electronics and Communication Engineering at JS College of Engineering. Welcome to Analog and Digital Communication. This is Module 5, Digital Modulation Techniques. There are 5 course outcomes of this subject. The first one deals with, it explains the importance of analog and digital communication. That is the modulation and demodulation schemes. In this case, we are very much interested to grow the knowledge of the student towards the basic definitions of the modulation and demodulation part. The second course outcome deals with the analyze analog communication system for their signal to noise ratio, efficiency and bandwidth, because whenever students are dealing with the signals, they are very much interested to know about its power that can dominate the noise over the channel. So that is why signal to noise ratio plays important role for analog and digital communication, as well as its efficiency and bandwidth. When the signal is received by the receiver, the accuracy should be as high as possible. The third course outcome statements is to compare the advantage of various pulse modulation technique and analyze their system performances. And the fourth one deals with demonstrating signal representation. So this is one of the most important part of the course, that is how to represent the signal or signal constellation, because once the signal position is known, therefore we can describe the noise margin or noise cloud around the signal vector tip, so that the amount of noise that can contaminate the signal will have a prediction. So that is one way to check the communication system suitable for a certain area. Analyze various digital communication techniques, can compute the bit error performance and compare their advantages and limitations. So this is the last outcome, which is dealing with the efficiency of the digital communication system, in which the bit error rate as well as several types of error cases, that is type 1, type 2 errors, will be discussed here, so that students will be able to demonstrate such factors. There are 5 modules in this subject. The module 1 deals with the introduction, where the introductory concept of the communication system will be discussed, and thereafter the basic knowledge of the analog communication and digital communication and their correlation, that is interdependency of those two communication system over the timeline. And the second module deals with the random processes. The random process it deals with certain mathematical examples as well as principles, in which the statistical characterization of the signal will be analyzed. And the module 3 deals with the pulse modulation. The pulse modulation basically analog communication technique, and it is also the bridge between the analog and digital communication technique, because the pulse modulation produces pulses corresponding to instantaneous magnitude of the analog signal. Several categories of pulse modulation are also to be discussed in this module. And thereafter the module 4, which is signal vector representation. So if signal vector is properly represented, then we can predict the amount of noise that can contaminate a particular signal, whether the signal will withstand with respect to that noise or not. So all these things could be predicted. Digital modulation techniques will be discussed here, and differential pulse mode modulation to shift keying techniques, all these things will be discussed in the last module. The prerequisites of this analog and digital communication is the knowledge of signal vector representation, characteristics and of additive white Gaussian noise, geometric representation of signals, synthesizer and analyzer, signal vector, signal space, Euclidean space, etc. And this is the corresponding COPO mapping for the analog and digital communication. There are 5 course outcome statements which are related to the program outcome vertical with 3 different weightages. The first one is the highest weightage, numerically 3, medium weightage is 2, and the lowest weightage is 1. So why it is 3 given? Because program outcome 1, 2, 3 are the corresponding knowledges of engineering, as well as program outcome 10 and 11 deals with the communication and project management and finance. So in this case we are giving higher weightage to each of these course outcome mostly, and there is a low weightage are getting program outcome 5 and 6 because it is the theoretical subject in which the modern tool uses and engineer and society impact are less, and almost environment and sustainability, ethics, these are coming less to this subject. So depending on that, this COPO mapping has been introduced. The course objective of this analog and digital communication is to familiarize students with the fundamental of analog and digital communication systems, to provide students with tools for communication signal analysis, to familiarize students with various techniques for amplitude modulation and demodulation of analog signals, to develop the students' ability to determine the effects of receiver frequency and phase errors in synchronous modulation systems, to familiarize students with techniques for generating and demodulating narrow band and wide band frequency and phase modulated signals, to familiarize students with basic techniques for generating and demodulating pulse code modulated signals, to familiarize students with issues pertaining to the transmission of digital signals over bandwidth limited communication channels. Emery modulation technique we have started to discuss. The topic to be discussed today are the Emery frequency shift keying, features of Emery FSK, quadrature phase shift keying, generation of QPSK signal, detection of QPSK signal, offset QPSK, non-offset QPSK, that means OQPSK and NOQPSK, QPSK signal constellation, error probability of QPSK signal, power spectral density of QPSK signal. Baseband equivalent low pass representation we already have seen for different shift keying technique. So here we will start the discussion with the frequency shift keying, and it is the Emery FSK, where SMT can be written as A cos within bracket 2 pi of Fc plus Fm into T. So this is representing the real part of e to the power j2 pi fmt, e to the power j2 pi fct. So here we are taking the real part because it is representing the cosine part. So therefore the low pass nature of the signal Sm of LPT is given by e to the power j2 pi fmt. So if we exclude the carrier, we are getting the low pass nature of the signal. Now the cross correlation can be written as 1 by Ts integration 0 to Ts e to the power j2 pi of k minus L delta f t dt. This is equal to sine of pi t k minus 1 del f divided by pi t k minus 1 del f e to the power j 2 pi t multiplied by k minus l del f. So the cross correlation rho of KL is equal to sine of 2 pi t k minus l del f divided by 2 pi t into k minus l del f. So this is the simple integration that has constructed the cross correlation of the Emery FSK signal, where del f is nothing but 1 by 2t, because t is the symbol duration and k is not equal to l. So therefore the minimum frequency separation between adjacent signals for orthogonality of the m signals is del f is equal to 1 by 2t. So here one thing we can note, that the primary lobe of the spectrum is having the maximum magnitude, and gradually the magnitude is falling thereafter. So assuming the frequency separation del f is equal to 1 by 2t, the signal space representation for the Emery FSK signal are given as n-dimensional vectors where n is equal to m. So phi of mt, that means the basis function, can be written as square root 2 by ts cos of 2 pi of mc plus fm into t for the symbol duration ts. Now here the signals can be written in three different axes, that is f1t, f2t and f3t. The distance, intersymbol distance between them is constant, which is square root of 2 times of epsilon. So therefore there are such m number of signal is possible under the Emery FSK. Only the angular distance of this signal vector will exist. So here three symbols are shown with a time domain signal. Therefore the energy ESM is equal to integration 0 to ts sm square t dt. So this gives a square ts by 2 is the energy. Therefore the magnitude is the square root of such energy, which is a square root ts by 2. The features of Emery FSK are not susceptible to noise as much as ASK. So ASK, we already have seen, it is more prone to noise because the amplitude of the amplitude shift king contains the information, and if it is contaminated due to the superposition of the noise in the channel, then the information will be corrupted in the amplitude shift king transmission. So therefore in case of Emery FSK we are not facing such problem. The transmitted m number of signals are equal in energy and duration. The signals are separated by 1 by 2 ts hertz, making the signals orthogonal to each other. Since m signals are orthogonal, there is no crowding in the signal space. So this is one of the important important part of the Emery signaling. So since m signals are orthogonal, so signals are orthogonal, it is necessary, that means the product of the two signal, if integrated over the symbol duration, should be equal to 0. So that is why no crowding in the signal space. That means signals are maintaining sufficient distance from the nearest symbol. The bandwidth efficiency of Emery FSK decreases and the power efficiency increases with the increase in AM. The quadrature phase shift king is one of the best modulation technique, which is more noise immune, and the construction of the circuit is not much complex. This modulation scheme is very important for developing concepts of two-dimensional in-phase and quadrature modulation, as well as for its practical relevance. In a sense, QPSK is expanded version from binary PSK, where in a symbol consists of 2 bits and 2 orthonormal basis functions. A group of 2 bits is often called D bit, because if we combine two number of bit, another name is required, and that is known as d bit. So for d bits, 4 d bits are possible. Each symbol carries same energy. Now let E is the energy per symbol and T is the symbol duration, which is equal to 2 TB, and TB is the bit duration, because two number of bit are constructing one symbol, so that is why 2 times of bit duration is the symbol duration. A general expression of QPSK modulated signal without any pulse shaping can be represented as SIT is equal to square root of 2 E by T cos of 2 pi FCT plus 2 of I minus 1 multiplied by pi by 4 plus 0. So this is valid for the time which is limited by the symbol duration for 4 number of symbols. That is why I is equal to 1, 2, 3 and 4. Here the carrier frequency Fc is equal to n times 1 by T. That means T is the symbol duration, therefore we can replace it by 2 times of bit duration. This is the carrier intermediate frequency for which we are writing the Fc is equal to n by 2 TB. On simple trigonometric expression, the modulated signal SIT can also be expressed as SIT is equal to square root of 2 E by T cos of 2I minus 1 pi by 4 multiplied by cos of 2 pi FCT minus square root 2 E by T sin of 2I minus 1 multiplied by pi by 4 sin of 2 pi FCT. So this is valid with the symbol duration 0 to capital T. The two basis functions which are used for the quadrature phase shift king, one is phi 1t which is equal to square root 2 by t cos of 2 pi FCT, and another is phi 2 which is square root 2 by t sin 2 pi FCT. So when we are choosing such basis function, we need to see that if we take the product of these two basis function and integrate it over the symbol duration, it should be equal to 0. That is why the normal convention is that if one signal is cos 2 pi FCT, another signal will be sin 2 pi FCT. They are having 90° out of phase. We can take some other signals, but here the simple example is taken because we are very much familiar with cosine and sine function. They are having 90° phase shift. So that is why we are considering one basis function is cos 2 pi FCT, therefore the another basis function is sin 2 pi FCT. The 4 signal points expressed as vectors are SI, which is written as square root E cos of 2I minus 1 pi by 4 minus square root E sin of 2I minus 1 pi by 4. So therefore there are two signal vectors SI1 and SI2 where we can go for 4 number of symbol representation. Therefore the signal constellation is showing that all the neighboring signals are maintaining sufficient distance so that the signal constellation is not possible, and all these symbols, all these 4 symbols are orthogonal to each other. That is why they are having optimized distance maintained for noise immunity. There is more is the distance between the successive symbol, we will have more noise cloud around the symbol, which could be reduced at the receiving end. This is a typical circuit responsible for the generation of the quadrature phase shift king. Now here the binary sequence of ones and zeros representing plus 1 volt and minus 1 volt with a bit duration TB applied to a serial to parallel converter, which is a demultiplexer, which are producing 2 number of lines. One line is going to the multiplier where square root 2 by t cos of omega ct is the basis function we are considering, because we know the product of the two basis function if integrated, that is equal to 0. That is why such nature of the magnitude square root of 2 e by t is taken. Similarly, another path in which the multiplier is applied with the carrier of sin 2 pi FCT, this is square root 2 e by t multiplied by sin omega ct. So one path is inverse path in which cos omega ct is present, another path is the quadrature path. Now these two paths are added so that we can get the resultant QPSK signal. And this is a typical correlation receiver which is detecting the QPSK signal. It is receiving the modulated signal and bifurcated into two paths, in which separately the two basis functions which we already have discussed about the carrier, which are orthogonal to each other, are representing the basis function. So in one path it is multiplied with phi 1, and another path it is multiplied with phi 2. So one path is in phase path, another path is the quadrature path, but the main purpose is to extract the symbol. That is why correlation receivers are used. Correlation receivers are having the simple nature. It is a low pass filter prior to that means multiplier followed by a low pass filter. Low pass filter is represented by integrator, which is integrating the incoming symbol for 0 to 2 dB. So one is extracting the even bits, another is extracting the odd bit. So in this way the two paths are forming the two successive bit, and we are getting the signals at the two different paths, which are fed to the multiplexer, and therefore the output is the serial representation of the bits. Now the term offset QPSK and non-offset QPSK, the symbols with two bits at a time leads to change in phase of QPSK modulated signal as much as by 180 degree. That means if there is a symbol, a bit combination 0 0 changes to 1 1, that means both the bits are changing by 90 degrees. So as a whole 90 plus 90, 180 degree phase shift can be observed. So this is termed as non-offset QPSK. Now such a large phase transition over a small symbol interval causes momentarily but large amplitude change in the signal. This leads to relatively higher side lobe peaks in the spectrum, and it is avoidable to a considerable extent by adopting a simple tick. In offset QPSK, the timing of the odd and even bits by 1 bit period ensures that the in phase and quadrature components do not change at the same time instant. The maximum phase transition will be limited to pi by 2 at a time, though the frequency of phase changes over a large period of observation will be more. The resultant effect is that the side lobe levels decrease to a good extent, and the demodulator performs relatively better even if the modulation channel is slightly nonlinear in behavior. The equivalent Nyquist bandwidth is not altered by this method. Now this is the typical symbol constellation of QPSK signal we already have discussed, and here we are giving more emphasis on looking to the symbol duration. So here one thing we should note, that in every successive symbol, that means S4 is having two neighboring signal, one is S3, another is S1. These neighboring signals are having 1 bit change to S4. Another thing is that if we observe the opposite symbols, that means S2 is opposite to S4. So S2 is represented by 0 0, S4 is represented by 1 1. They are having 180 degree phase shift, but it is not occurring because here S2 will have successive symbol either S1 or S3, because S4 is the distant symbol which is not coming just after S2. Similarly, S3 and S1, if we observe, they are having 180 degree phase shift, because 0 1 is transforming to 1 0. There are 2 bit changes and they are not occurring simultaneously because S3 has to reach S1 through S2 or through S4. So these are nothing but the highlights of the offset QPSK, where the 90 degree phase shift is the maximum phase shift occurring in the QPSK signal. Now this is the error probability of QPSK. If we recall the QPSK modulated signal, we already have seen that SIT is given by square root of 2e by t and the remaining part. Just before two slides, we already have discussed this expression regarding the QPSK modulated signal. Now the corresponding signal at the input of a QPSK receiver RT is equal to SIT plus WT. So if the time is limited within the symbol duration, we can write RT is equal to SIT plus WT, where WT is the additive noise sample function for the symbol duration and T is the symbol duration. Following our discussion on correlation receiver, we observe that the receiver vector, received vector R bar at the output of a bank of in-phase path and quadrature path correlators has two components. So one is R1, another is R2. So what are these R1 and R2? They are nothing but the product of the received signal with corresponding basis functions. That means R1 is corresponding to phi 1 and R2 is corresponding to phi 2. So if we integrate the product of the received signal and the basis function over the symbol duration, so they will give the expression which is shown on the right hand side. So these are nothing but the correlator output. We already have discussed that correlator are nothing but multiplier followed by low pass filter. So in both the case, the sample additive noise received are W1 and W2. Now here the probability of correlator reception when SIT transmitted, that means we can represent that correct reception is nothing but the integration of 0 to infinity 1 by square root pi n0 exponential Ri minus square root t by 2 divided by n0. So what is square root t by 2? This is square root t by 2 have written twice for R1 and R2. They are the mean value of R1 and R2. So we are finding out the probability of the correct reception from the probability density function concept, and R1 R2 are statistically independent. By putting Z equal to this ratio, we can get a smaller expression for the same signal. Now the error function has been defined at the top, and finally we got the correct reception, and here the ERFC function is a very small value. So if we take the square, then we can neglect this part, and finally we can write the probability of error is nothing but 1 minus probability of correct reception, and that is having a very small expression which is shown here, ERFC square root EB by N0. So EB is the bit energy and N0 is the power spectral density of the white Gaussian noise. So probability of error is nothing but the error function of square root EB divided by N0. Now this is the power spectra of QPSK signal. Assume a long sequence of random independent bits as our information sequence. Without Nyquist filtering, the shaping function in this case can be written as GT is equal to square root of energy divided by symbol duration, where symbol duration is 2 times of bit duration. After some straightforward manipulation, the single sided spectrum of the equivalent complex baseband signal, this U wave T, can be expressed as UBF is equal to 2E multiplied by 6 square TF. The E is the energy per symbol and T is the symbol duration. The above expression can be put in terms of the corresponding parameters associated with one information bit. So therefore UBF is equal to 4EB sin square 2 times of TBF. Thank you.